Welcome back, everyone. This is Short Splats. I'm Jared. Today we're going to cover something fun. HHN just released their tagline, "Don't Go Alone." So we're going to do the quick history of HHN. I can't say I'm the biggest HHN nut, but reading through the history was a lot of fun. It was a lot of stuff I didn't know. We're going to read through that together and just celebrate it. I mean, their schedule's outstanding, but we have stuff to do first. We got to talk to Jimmy J, Brian, over at Horror 365 about the Friday the 13th Minicon. Let's do it.
Friday the 13th weekend, May 13th and 14th, it is all going down right here on the grounds of the Blairstown Diner. Laura Marie Taylor, Ron Milkey, Ron Sloan, Debbie Voorhees, Tracy Savage. I mean, we have a lineup of guests coming out for the weekend. And not only are we celebrating Friday the 13th, but we are celebrating 13 Fanboy. And with that being said, we have the lead actress, Haley Greenbauer herself, making her way to Blairstown. This is history in the making, folks. Get your tickets now. F13 Minicon.eventbrite.com. That is F13 Minicon.eventbrite.com. Jason's here early. Folks, like I said, it's going to be a killer weekend in Blairstown, going down at the iconic Blairstown Diner. Be a part of the history in the making. We'll see you there.
All right. Again, May 13th and 14th, the only Friday the 13th of the year. Get out to Blairstown. Go to F13 Minicon.eventbrite.com for your tickets. As always, we'll have a link in the description. Next up, we have some haunts opening. Can't wait to get there. I'm so excited. About to squirt some fog juice just to get in the mood. Let's do this. Field of Screams will be open May 13th and 14th for Friday the 13th and halfway to Halloween. Here's the trailer. Buy your tickets now, fieldofscreams.com. We need to pick up our Brighton tickets. Yeah, I need to do that shortly. Next paycheck. Alright, so let's get to Brighton Asylum. Open May 14th only. Come out and see Frankie. Let's check out the video. Awesome. Now, let's start our segment, the quick history of HHN. Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights. I had a great time. I've only been once. Kind of looking at this year as a possibility. Maybe. We'll see. We'll definitely see. I don't know. I'm planning a huge haunt season. We got honeymoon, vacation. You know, it's just a lot of stuff adding up. But I do want to show the schedule for HHN because this is pretty much a record-breaking schedule. Look how many days they are open. Are you kidding me? So they open September 2nd, which is amazing. And most weeks they're open Wednesday through Sunday and even Monday on the Halloween. Look how many days they're open. So that's a lot of days. So, I mean, if I could see what we could do for September 2nd, because it is right before our opening night of September 10th. We'll see. But let's get into the history. This was a pretty awesome Wikipedia article I found. It's a lot to listen to, but it's interesting. It really breaks down the history, basically, of Universal Studios Florida, so Orlando. I'm going to pick Orlando because it's the easiest one for me to get to. Halloween Horror Nights began at Universal Studios Florida in 1991 under the title Fright Nights. It began as a 3-night event on October 25th, 26th, and 31st, 1991, with one haunted house, the Dungeon of Terror. The first year, the admission price was $12.95. From 1991 to 2001, the event was held at Universal Studios Florida. The event was renamed Universal Studios Florida Halloween Horror Nights in 1992 and advertised as the second annual Halloween Horror Nights. There were 2 haunted houses, with the Dungeon of Terror returning to the Jaws Q building and the People Under the Stairs making its debut in Soundstage 23. This event ran 5 nights, October 23rd, 24th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. So already they grew 2 days and 1 attraction. The third annual HHN at Universal Studios Florida saw the event increase to 7 nights. Due to the reopening of the Jaws attraction, the in-park haunted house moved from the Jaws Q in Amity to the Nazarman's Facade in the New York area. The number of haunted houses increased to 3, with the third at the Bates Motel set at Universal Studios. Halloween Horror Nights 4 expanded to an 8-night run in 94. This year marked the return of a newly designed Dungeon of Terror along with 3 more haunted houses. In addition to Nazarman's and the Bates Motel, the new locations were in the Earthquake Overflow Queue and the Boneyard. This year also marked the first use of the term scare actor, as well as the first official Ghoul School for actors participating in the event. The ticket prices increased to $36 this year. Halloween Horror Nights 5 featured a 12-night run and 3 haunted houses, one of which was a dual-path house. It was also the first time Universal themed the event around a character, in this case, Tales from the Crypt's Crypt Keeper. The event was subtitled The Curse of the Crypt Keeper. I'm very mad I missed that because I grew up on Tales from the Crypt. Universal Studios Hollywood had featured Halloween attractions in 1986 and 1992. Bearing little resemblance to the modern event, the 86 effort was actually a tram tour and was marred by the accidental death of a retail employee who, like many employees at the time, had volunteered to perform in the event. The 92 event was a direct result of Fright Nights at Universal Florida the year before, but was not successful. HHN officially launched at Universal Studios Hollywood October 9th, 97, running through the 2000 season. From 2001 to 2005, Halloween Horror Nights went on hiatus at Universal Studios Hollywood, then returned in 2006, and has continued yearly since. Between 2007 and 2014, Universal Studios Hollywood made use of Universal's House of Horrors, its permanent haunted attraction, as a part of Halloween Horror Nights by retheming it for the event. Back in Florida, Halloween Horror Nights 6 through 10 followed the formula developed for HHN 5 in 95, growing from 15 nights in 96 to 19 in the year 2000. There were 3 haunted houses each year, along with 98 on 2 each were dual path houses, for a total of 5 experiences. One notable change was the first 3D haunted house in 1999 in the Nazarman's Facade. By 1999, ticket prices were $44. In 2000, Universal launched its first in-house created icon, Jack the Clown. Because the September 11th attacks occurred so close to HHN 11, Universal made many changes to tone down the event. Much gore was scraped from the event, and blood was replaced with green goop. The names of several houses, scare zones, and shows were changed. The original icon character Eddie was scrapped. Edgar Sawyer was conceived as a demented chainsaw-wielding horror movie buff that had been disfigured by a fire. He was supposed to be a threat to previous icon Jack, and the tagline "No More Clowning Around" was used, and seen on early advertisements and merchandise. Eddie was ultimately removed from the event before it began, although he was still appearing on that year's logo and merchandise with the official "ICU" tagline. As a hurried replacement, Jack would return along with a line of merchandise bearing the tagline "Jack's Back." Eddie's backstory was changed, and his name was changed to Eddie Schmidt, Jack's younger brother. The event ran for 19 days. Admission went up to $48 with 5 haunted houses. HHN moved to Universal's Island of Adventure in 2002. The caretaker was not the original icon for HHN 12 in 2002. Cindy, sometimes spelled Cindy with an S, the daughter of mortuary owner Paul Bearer, was originally the icon of the event. In the event's premise, every land would be ruled over by their playthings. After several child abductions in the area, the Cindy concept was abandoned and her father, Paul Bearer, changed into Dr. Albert Crane, also known as the caretaker. Cindy would eventually appear in 2006's Scream House Resurrection, 2009's Shadow of the Past, and 2010's The Orphanage, Ashes to Ashes. HHN 12, the first to be held at Universal's Island of Adventure Park, featured 5 haunted houses with admission set at $49.95. HHN 13 again took place at Islands of Adventure. It features 6 haunted houses. The icon was the director. For HHN 14 in 2004, the resort experimented with a dual park format, which connected and utilizes parts of both parks. The 14th edition featured a mental patient. It ran 18 nights and featured 7 haunted houses. HHN 15 in 2005 ran 19 nights, had 7 haunted houses, and an admission of $59.75. This year was the first time an entirely alternate reality, Terra Crucis, was the basis for the entire event. Universal offered backstage tour of HHN sets. In 2006, Horror Comes Home to the Universal Studios Florida Park for its Sweet 16 celebration with the 4 previous icons. Admission was $59.95. It ran for 19 nights, featured 7 haunted attractions. For HHN 17 in 2007, and this is the one I'm really pissed I missed, Universal Studios acquired the rights to the use of New Line Cinema's characters Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface for Halloween Horror Nights. There were 8 haunted houses. The event ran 23 days with a ticket price of $64.95. 2008's Reflection of Fear featured a new icon in the form of Dr. Mary Agana, an original take on the Bloody Mary legend. The event revolved around the realm of reflections where Mary dwelled. A musical tribute to the Rocky Horror Picture Show was added for the 18th and 19th installments. 2010 marked the 20th installment of the event at the Orlando Park. It was titled 20 Years of Fear, and it marked fear as the event's icon. There were 8 haunted houses, and the event ran for 23 nights at $74.99 a night. 2011, HHN 21 and 2012, HHN 22, 8 haunted houses respectively and 25 nights respectively at $88.99. Roaming hordes replace scare zones, and The Walking Dead arrive at the event in 2012. In 2011, Universal Studios Singapore began their HHN event. There was 1 haunted house. The event ran 7 nights and admission was $60. Well, their currency. Universal Studios Singapore Halloween Horror Nights 2 in 2012 ran 7 nights, had 3 houses, and the admission went up to $68. By 2015, Singapore's Halloween Horror Nights 5 had grown to 4 haunted houses, 3 of which were designed using local Singapore horror legends and myths. Singapore's HHN 6 in 2016 featured 5 houses, ran 16 nights, and was $69 in Singapore. In 2012, Universal Studios Japan joined the HHN franchise with an event themed to the Biohazard video games known as Resident Evil in other countries. It ran 36 nights from September 14th through November 11th. Tickets were 8,400 yen. By 2015, Universal Studios Japan had increased its Universal Surprise Halloween at Universal Studios Japan, which includes HHN, to 59 days, featuring both daytime and nighttime activities. Wow. 2013's Florida Halloween Horror Nights 23 featured a haunted house based on American Werewolf in London, The Cabin in the Woods, and Resident Evil, plus 5 more for a total of 8. The Walking Dead continues as the event icon, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show tribute returned. It ran 27 nights. Admission was $91.99. Florida's Halloween Horror Nights 24 in 2014 featured 8 houses and a return to the use of scare zones. Universal again made use of licensed properties from others, including The Walking Dead, Alien vs. Predator, From Dusk Till Dawn, Halloween, The Purge. They were 2 shows, Bill and Ted, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Halloween Horror Nights 25 in 2015 at Universal Studios brought back Jack the Clown as the icon with his icon friends. HHN ran a record of 30 nights. HHN 25 featured 9 haunted houses with admission reaching $101 during the prime days. HHN 27 was the final year of Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure was performed at Universal Studios Florida. The show had been running at HHN since 1992. Universal Studios Florida debuted a brand new Lagoon show entitled Halloween Marathon of Mayhem during HHN 29 that featured iconic scenes from well-known and cult classic horror films and TV shows. Universal Studios Hollywood included Throwback Thursdays as part of HHN 2019, with a special welcome from Chucky and Beetlejuice and a live DJ playing 1980s hits, along with local Los Angeles 80s cover band Fast Times performing on select nights for the event. HHN 30 was initially planned for 2020, but it was canceled and delayed to 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic impact on theme parks. They later decided to feature 2 of the planned haunted houses as attractions for guests for the initially planned 2020 season. For Halloween weekend of 2020, the original planned Beetlejuice house was featured for a limited engagement. Wow. So, I mean, long history, a lot of stuff to go through there. Pretty cool stuff, though. I didn't know a lot of that. Now I get why people talk about the icon and all that. But here's this year's tagline. Never go alone. Pretty creepy. Nicely well done. Here's the shot we took outside of Universal when we went. 2017. So, I mean, we had Saw, American Horror Story. We had The Shining. That was probably the best one that year that we liked. We have a written review for it back in our stuff there. And they have scare zones. They're cool. They're decorated areas. Sometimes there's an actor in there or two, but not our picture. But that's really what a scare zone looks like. It's really done. When we went, it was trick or treat. So that was fun. It was cool seeing Jack everywhere and the kid throwing up and all that cool stuff. But this has been long enough. Kind of long for a short splat. Thank you for listening. This has been our quick history of HHN. That's all I got for you today. I'm Jared. This has been Short Splats. I'm out.